In order to connect with your audience or your dear subjects, you have to be raw. It's an exchange of energy and love. I'm a delicate lotus flower, but when I'm in drag, she blooms fully. Hello, my dear subjects. It's your queen, Jasmine Rice Labeija from the Juilliard House of Labeija here in New York City, and I'm known to the government as Chris. Jasmine Rice Labeija is all about living the fantasy to the fullest, okay? I'm a huge daydreamer. I want to be a Disney princess the one day and the Disney villain the next day, and I get to do that as Jasmine Rice Labeija. So for me, it's literally living the fantasy to the fullest. Drag in and itself is a grand opera. I'm a classical queen, I love opera. My goal in performance is not necessarily to push boundaries or push other people's buttons or break the walls. It's literally to enjoy and make my dreams come true. My childhood was kind of like all over the place. I was born in LA but moved back to Korea before I was 1. It was very traditional Korean, conservative, small town. Growing up, it was a little bit a bumpy road. I always kind of felt like an outsider because I was so outspoken, flamboyant. I never thought that I was weird, and other people thought that I was weird, but I thought they were weird for thinking that I was weird. Ever since I could remember, I was always attracted to strong women, just like my mom and my grandma, and I saw femininity as something positive and something powerful. And even to this day, I don't think being feminine is a negative thing. I think it's a powerful thing. I always wanted to move back to America, especially New York City, because I was in the arts, especially classical singing, and Juilliard was the place to be. Singing and pursuing singing came naturally. I can't imagine my life without singing. I actually convinced my parents to let me audition for Juilliard pre-college, and she got accepted, of course, on the spot. You're welcome. I actually wanted to move to the States by myself, live my Sex and the City life, but of course my parents decided to move here with me, and we moved to New Jersey. I loved my experience at the Juilliard School. Studying music has so many different elements. Like studying at Juilliard, it's very, very intense. You have to take classes on ear training. You have to take classes on music history, music theory. You have to take classes on English diction, French diction, German diction, Russian diction. You have to take classes on acting, movement classes, dance classes, staging, stage makeup. You really need to love what you do. It really reminds you, like, can you actually live without this or not? There it is. 107. Being in classical music, you have to be loud and expressive within the boundaries, but I actually wanted to break those boundaries. After I graduated from the Juilliard School, I wanted to pursue music, but it's very difficult. Being in an industry where it's supposed to be so proper in a way or uptight, it was difficult for someone like me to fit in. I always wanted to do drag, and drag was basically a hobby, a very expensive hobby, mind you. And one day, it kind of hit me like, why don't I just pursue this? It just clicked. I mean, I was good at it, I loved it, and my dear subjects appreciated me. I do drag because I love to do drag, not because other people love the fact that I do drag. As a performer, if you don't love what you do and if you go on stage, the audience can see that and they don't connect with you. There's a mutual bond right there, you know. At this point in my career, I'm kind of combining the two, and that's why I fell in love with drag, because I become the director to producer to costume designer to makeup artist and the musical director of everything. I created my own opportunity. It's my own mini grand opera. We are actually not that different. If you're enjoying the show, I'm enjoying the show, there's a common ground right there, you know? Boundaries are taught. You're not born with it. I just want to get back to the root of it, that we are all human. If I get cut, I bleed red, same thing as you. And that's what I represent, humanity. Oh wow, I'm so important. Humanity, that's what I represent.